Have a seat, please.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Lead Counsel, Assistant Counsel, viewers and listeners, members of the press, good morning. Welcome to our daily proceedings of this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters. Without further ado, I have the honor to yield the floor to Madam Chair for our next item on our today's agenda. Madam Chair, over to you.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'll call on Honorable Sila to lead us in Muslim prayers and Honorable Joyner to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب أعوذ بالله من شر النساء ومن شر الشياطين والسلطان الله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره عظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O God, our help in ages past, the one whom we adore, we bow in silence at your feet today, asking for mercy. Forgive our misdeeds. We commit ourselves into your care. Heal us from every infirmity. Take away shame, disgrace, and embarrassment from our midst. Enable us to be steadfast in our task, and grant us divine grace and mercies as we continue to serve you with sincerity of heart, today and forevermore. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, may I remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Janneh.
Morning, Madam Chair.
You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Council, can we please proceed?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Mr. Janneh,
Yes, Council.
we have some vouchers we want to show you. But I understand you have some documents you want to tender.
Yes.
But before that, let me just show you these vouchers. It is in relation to Lankaramo Suare and Sons. go through those vouchers,
Okay.
and you may identify the ones you've authorized.
All right.
Did you authorize the payment of the first voucher?
Yes, yes, sir.
Please tell us the voucher number and the date.
This particular voucher has, payment has two voucher numbers I can see. PV 0094 stroke 2022 and PV 22-0090.
And the date? The date, please.
21st January 2022.
Please move to the next. Yes.
These two are almost three PV numbers.
Yes.
Can I read them all?
The voucher number and the date.
The voucher number, the two voucher, three voucher numbers I said.
Yes. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay. The first one is PV number 0192 stroke 2022. The second PV 22-0207.
Yes.
And the third k.M.C. PV 22000045.
Very well. The next one.
The 2nd February 2022.
Thank you. Let's move to the next one, please.
The third PV number 22-0463. Date 16th March 2022.
Please proceed.
This one too has three voucher numbers. So the system generated one is a bit faded. PV 2035 stroke 2022 Those in ink, PV 22-0252. And the third, k.M.C. PV 2200. May I repeat?
Yes.
k.M.C. PV 2200583.
Thank you.
On the last one,
Yes.
also has 3 PV numbers. The first one is 0247/2022. Second PV 22-0260. And the last k.M.C. PV 22000590.
Thank you very much. We can have the voucher. We apply to tender the following vouchers in relation to payments made to Lankaramo Suare and Sons by the Carnegie Municipal Council. As at the time, the witness was the C.E.O. of the council. The first is dated the 21st of January 2022 with PV number 0097/2022 and PV number 22-0090. The amount is $140,000. We have a voucher number PV 0192/2022 and PV 22-0207. Dated 2nd of February 2022. We have voucher number PV 22-0463. We have voucher number PV 0235/2022 and PV 22-0252. The last one is voucher number 0247/2022 and also another number PV 22-0260 into evidence as exhibit.
The following 4 vouchers are admitted as follows. A payment voucher dated the 2nd of February 2022 with PV number PV 22-0207 and another PV number which is 0192 stroke 2022. A payment voucher dated the 16th of March 2022 with PV number PV220463. A payment voucher dated the 8th of February 2022 with PV number PV22-0252, another PV number which is 0225/2022. A payment voucher dated the 9th of February 2022 with PV number PV22-0260. The second PV number is 0247/2022. These 4 payment vouchers are admitted in a bundle as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/KJ/KMC/008.
As the commission pleases. Now, Mr. Janneh, what was the arrangement with Lankara Musware and Sons in relation to the contracts that were awarded to him or his business?
As far as I'm concerned, there has not been any special arrangement between Council and Lankara Musware in respect of various services or goods supplied or whatever for Council.
Yes. What do you mean by that?
Yes, all I know, when the requests are made,
Yes.
I meet it to relevant department,
Yes.
mostly being planning, being services, or being procurement.
Yes.
All right. So once they satisfy that they verify as requested, normally the requests are sent back to me. All right. So most of those requests, if it is services, like for example, drain cleaning or any other services that required procurement, then it's normally sent to procurement.
Yes. Now, were these discussed at the level of the contracts committee, these contracts? What is the involvement of the contracts committee in relation to these awards given to Lankara Musware?
Most of these awards
Yes.
are not discussed at the contract committee.
Why is that?
Normally, it is most of what I can recall is it depends on the threshold. All right. Some, of course, they are discussed. I cannot say for certain specifically until if I go through the
What do you mean
payment.
when you say it depends on the threshold? Are you saying that there are some that the contracts committee doesn't have to discuss, and there are some that they have to discuss based on the threshold? At least that is not my understanding. My understanding is every contract must pass through the contracts committee, even if you are to single source. More importantly, it has to be sanctioned by the, approved by the.
Well, if that has happened, then it must have been a serious oversight. I believe the department, the units like procurement or services have given appropriate guidelines with regard to
No,
such services.
Mr. Janneh, no, that's not correct. Okay. You are to advise. You are the head of the procuring organization. You as the CEO, and you also double as is it the chairman of the conduct committee?
Yes.
Yes. So you are the one to make sure that all the regulations are followed, all the procedures are met. Not to say that you would want to assume that they would have done their job.
To be honest with you, that's the situation.
Let me show you the voucher, for instance, with these two PV numbers. It is it's LGC/LFB -KMC/011, voucher number 0097/2022, and again you have voucher number PV 220090 that you have authorized. What procurement method was used? Or for instance, let's just start with the amount. What is the amount involved?
140,000.
What was the procurement for?
The hiring of a shovel loader and
Yes.
2 trucks
Yes?
for dump clearing
Yes?
at illegal dump sites at Talini South.
Yes. Now, how many, or what was the process or the method used, the procurement method used?
In this case, I think RFQ requested.
No, don't think, be sure.
No,
You have the voucher with
yes,
you.
they are here. The RFQs are attached.
What is RFQ?
Request for quotations. You have 3 quotations attached.
And these quotations are the individuals?
One is from Lansware, which amounted to 140.
Yes.
140,000.
Yes.
The other one from ESSI Kunda 2 amounted to 160,000.
Yes.
And the third is from MCC Enterprise, amounted to 172,000.
Have you had time to decide who among these two would have been the winner at the level of the committee, contracts committee?
I cannot recall, except if I refer
If
to
it
the
happens to you,
minutes.
there will be minutes of it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If I cannot recall,
There are no
I
minutes.
go through the contract committee minutes.
There are no minutes.
The series of contract sittings were made.
So now, on what basis was Lankara Moswari awarded this contract out of the 3 that are said to have taken part in this bidding?
Going by the quotation, I think the most responsive bidder.
What is most responsive to you?
One, you look at the price.
The price?
Yes, is the lowest among the 3.
Okay. How about go ahead.
Two, the quality of service or the supplier or the contractor rendered.
How do you
and
know?
This can be known through your interactions with the provider, depending on the previous services he rendered to the institution.
So the other 2 did not render any service to the institution before?
Well, in the first place, I'm not familiar with suppliers. I've not got the list of suppliers. These are the custody of the procurement unit.
Yes.
All right. They
Yes.
have a list of potential suppliers.
Yes.
And in the case of Lansware has been with council for over 20 years or so.
Yes. Is that why all these contracts are given to him?
No, not necessarily. But during these 20 years or so engagement with council, I'm sure council, he must have won the confidence of council in terms of service delivery.
Don't be sure. Tell us what happened. You were the CEO. You tell us what happened as the CEO. You tell us the facts. What if you were satisfied with his work? you tell us. You are the one to tell us that Lankaramo Sware. Let me help you out.
No, what,
You are the one. Go ahead.
For example, in the case of, can I say this to the commission?
Yes.
When I took over my first engagement with the services,
Yes.
I cannot exactly remember when I start receiving dump clearing requests. All right, but then what I put to them
You
was,
can't remember what?
I said I cannot exactly remember when I first received the dump clearing request.
Yes.
But what I put to the service department was,
Yes.
there should be a very comprehensive assessment of the
Yes.
environment,
Yes.
because it's a serious concern.
Yes.
All right. So in that respect,
Yes.
the service department, led by service department, a committee was constituted,
Yes.
or which of course comprised of service, mainly service department personnel, NEA,
Yes.
public health, regional public health officer, disaster.
Yes.
We went, because I even took part in that exercise, we went on a field exercise. We toured the length and breadth of the KM. All the 19 wards were visited. And each ward, when the team reaches there, they communicate with the councillor to take them round.
What are you trying to say?
Pardon?
What are you trying to argue?
No, I'm not. I'm saying as a result of that comprehensive assessment or site visit of the entire municipality,
Yes.
a report was generated.
Okay.
All right, which of course identifies some of the potential environmental prune areas, including illegal dump sites.
Yes.
So that this report is, in fact, I plan to bring that. It's about 120-page document.
Okay.
With pictures, all right?
Yes.
So when that was, after that comprehensive field visit, I told them now, this we have, service, you have a guide now.
Yes.
Was when you said a request is made from site X,
Yes.
for the illegal dump site, all right? They should use that comprehensive report as a guide.
Yes.
Whether it was identified, or if so, was it cleared before or not? So this report was generated is with council. I even want to present to the commission.
Please do. We will request that you provide the report.
Good. So it has been realized that we have a lot of challenges in terms of environment,
Yes.
particularly illegal dump sites.
Yes.
All right, and drainage challenges.
Yes.
Okay. So if you can see, Lansware is giving a lot of contracts as the payments can show, so by council through the services and procurement.
We want to discuss the legality
Yes.
of these awards. Not that Lankaramosware is not deserving of being given a contract, but we want to know the procedure that you followed. And the procedure will determine whether you had followed the law or not. Is that not the case? So let's try to examine that. Now, RFQ was used. You said request for quotation. Have you seen anywhere in that voucher where requests were sent to 3 bidders to send in their quotations?
This payment document is bulky. To be honest with you, that area is normally not cited.
It's not?
It's not normally not cited. I didn't take notice of such.
I don't understand. I don't understand what
No,
you mean by that.
you said whether it is mentioned anywhere where the...
You have the voucher.
Yes.
If requests were sent, you will see it there in the voucher.
Could you please guide me? Because in this form where I've not
Let me read to you what the procedures for request for quotation.
Okay.
You'll also find it in the financial manual, page 48. It is in relation to the GPPA rules and regulations. Section 608 says procedures for request for quotation. Quotations shall be requested from at least 3 bidders. The request shall contain the following: a clear statement of the requirements of council as to quality, quantity, terms, and time of delivery, as well as any other special requirements, and shall be formed by using GPA form 101. Do you have 101 there?
Yes, 101 is here.
Now, what were you requesting from each of these? How many 101s do you have?
We have one.
Just one. It should be
Yes.
3. 3 bidders. Where are the other 2?
Well, they are not here.
Why is that? Is there any reason?
Well, I cannot give any definite reasons. I think the document is prepared by procurement. They fill only one form. So
Yes.
if each
The
Bidder should be-
general functions of, you see, you, Mr. Is it Kajali Janneh?
yes,
You are answering as if you don't know your role as a CEO and being a chairman of the contracts committee as well. That is what your answers are really signaling or implying. The role of the contracts committee is also spelled out. Section 610 says a contracts committee shall be established in every council supported by specialized procurement units. The composition of the contracts committee shall be in accordance with the section 49 of the Act. A council is responsible, and accounting officer and other officials concerned are accountable for procurement in accordance with GPA Act and its attendant regulations. Now you go to the next page where you have the general functions of a contracts committee shall include a verification of the invitation to bid and the bidding documents. So for the requests for quotations that are sent and received, you have to verify and examine and decide. B, approval of the invitation to bid and the bidding documents. You see, you make the approvals. You compare and contrast and decide who you say is the most responsive and why they are the most responsive. C, approval of use of single source procurement in accordance with regulations. D, conducting the opening of bids. E, comparing and evaluating the bids and selecting the winning bid, subject to the paragraph F. And F, submitting the recommendations resulting from the evaluation of the bids to the official designated in the regulation. So you see, that's the role you play. Procurement department, they don't make decisions. You make decisions. So if you sit here and say that the procurement unit, don't divert the attention. You are here as a CEO.
yes. I'm not. Can I come in?
Please come in.
Yes. I'm not devolving my responsibility to the procurement department. But what I'm saying in reality, like I said at the beginning, depending on the threshold, that responsibility or authority is been surrendered to the procurement department.
No, not true.
Because as a specialized unit
Not
with expertise
Not true.
So they could have given,
Subsection
they
6,
could give a proper
6
guidance.
says
Yes.
a contracts committee may delegate to a specialized procurement unit authority to make contract award decisions subject to such decisions being subsequently reported and recorded in the minutes of the contracts committee.
Yes, yes.
So if you had delegated that, then you would have had all these records intact, the minutes therein and the report of the nomination therein. Do you have that?
No, I agreed. Those were not taking place.
So there was no delegation of duty.
It's in practice, there was. In practice.
This is
You see,
practice.
but then-
The law is
No,
the practice. This is practice. This is what you're supposed to
I-
do.
No, what I mean in practice here, they execute those functions,
Yes.
all right, on behalf of the procurement.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
I will come to tell you what they said, but what you are saying is not correct. The law says on page 38, that's chapter 6, where you have procurement and tender procedures for goods, works, and services, that all councils' purchase of goods, works, and services shall comply with thresholds prescribed in the GPA regulation. You see that? Local government procurement procedures should be done strictly in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. Strictly.
Yes, I agree with all those provisions, but
Is
what
that
I'm saying,
particular voucher properly raised?
no, in that respect.
Then the payment to Lanka Mosware for that part is unlawful. You agree?
I agree.
Now, let's put it aside. Let me give you this set of vouchers. Yes, so you pick one, and we discuss quickly, and we move to the other. What is the version number you have there?
You have two PV numbers. So you have 0247/2022.
Please kindly speak into the microphone.
The first PV number reads 0247/2022. The second PV 22-20260.
The amount?
35,000.
What was the payment for?
Being payment for the dislodging of Soccerway at the council's head office.
What is the procurement method used?
RFQ.
And the three bidders?
Lankaramo Soare, k.M.C Enterprise.
Do you have
Under ESS
where
Kundal 2.
where the three bidders sent request for quotation to provide their quotations?
No, only one.
Only 1 cent.
Only 1 cent, yes. Just as the case of the previous one we discussed.
Yes, there was only one request sent to Lankaramo.
Yes.
Was this issue, was it a determination made by the contracts committee, an evaluation of bids?
No.
Is that voucher duly authorized?
No.
The payment is unlawful.
Yes, I agree.
Move to the next one. Please tell us the voucher numbers.
PV 0235 stroke 2022.
Okay.
The second one, PV 22 dash 0252.
What is the payment for?
Being cost of material to facilitate the fixing of flags from Denton Bridge to Abuko in observance of the National Independence Day.
How much was paid to Lankara Mosware?
93,800.
Do you have, what method was used?
RFQ.
Do you have 3 requests sent to the 3 bidders?
Yes. Lance Karamo Suare 1,
Yes.
Isi Kunda 2,
Yes.
and Salis Enterprise 3.
Did you evaluate as a contracts committee these 3 bids to see who is the most responsive?
No. Council, can I
Yes, you may.
say something?
Yes.
In some cases, some of these requests, the planning reps, the services rep, as well as the procurement
Yes.
would jointly sit and identify these bidders.
Yes. They do it single-handedly. The witness, Farumara Saho Cham, you know her?
Fatu Saho?
Yes.
Yes.
She was the procurement manager.
Yes.
She said most of these contracts to Lankara Mosware were all single-sourced. That all these procurement forms were just filled. There was no procedure followed. She testified here.
Yes,
And that is only going to be a fact because you yourself confirm that you don't sit as a contracts committee to evaluate these contracts.
yes, I said so,
And so it
and
makes
I maintain that.
You maintain that, and,
Yeah.
and I commend you for that. But it only confirms what she had been saying, or what she said in the commission, that these documents you have as RFQs, documents, they were only there for formality. That Lankara Mosware had been the one who was being single-sourced all these contracts. And that's a fact.
Yes, I will not dispute it, but I want council also to put into consideration. Like I said, the 20 or more years working experience with council, if Lance Karamo Suare service delivery were not to the approval or whatever to council,
Yes.
I think they would have divorced him earlier.
No one is trying to argue whether the quality of delivery of service. That is not the issue here. You and I know that the reason why you must follow procurement regulations is because you don't have one Lankara Mosware in this country. What I mean, you don't have one individual who is more deserving than others to be given contracts. It has to be a competitive bidding. There must be a free market for people, for other Gambians as well as other companies to compete. Is that not the case?
Yes, I truly agree.
And once you have that, you're achieving 2 things. The first, and probably one of the most important, is you're going to achieve value for money. Do you know what value for money is?
Yes.
What is value for money?
Value for money, one, the price will be lower, value for money also entails the quality of service delivered.
Yes.
Or irrespective of the price can be lowered, but the quality of service
You will
poor.
have a good price that is of market value, and you will have quality. And the other limb is you'll also have a free level playing field for other people as well to compete.
May I say this, Council, if you will allow me? In my interactions with Lanswa, not at personal level, but he normally, most of the times, these activities are pre-financed. Why I said so was, in fact, when I didn't even knew who Lanswara was, he came to my office requesting for payment. I said, for what payment?
Yes.
He said, I've rendered services for council.
Yes.
Almost a month or 2 or 3. I said, fine. All right?
Yes.
It's not 1, not 2, and 2, 3. I said, fine. I engaged the finance department.
Yes.
Through the acting director, Cyril. He
Yes.
said he admitted that yes, we have payments, number of payments for Lanswara.
Yes.
All right. So one, this shows that you do pre-finance. 2, some of those delayed in payment as a result of low inflow of council revenue.
Yes.
All right. And some of these activities are emergencies.
Yes.
All right. Some they will come at a time where
Emergency.
yeah.
Suarez did not offer any service that was an emergency.
Yes,
No
I
service.
can, yes,
Not even one.
Fine. But yeah, I
You
can
cannot
give you,
name one service that he had or contract that was awarded to him that was as a matter of emergency. That's not true.
I don't know whether I can give you one.
Tell me.
The baobab,
The?
the baobab tree that fell at Bakote.
Yes.
All right. It's at the field, but the part of it covered the road.
Part of it covered the road.
Road, yes.
And
all right.
and part of it.
So that's it serves as an obstruction to both pedestrians and vehicles.
Obstruction.
All right. And the council of concern.
Mr. Janneh,
Yes.
obstruction is not emergency. Or may not be
No,
emergency.
might be my
Listen.
interpretation of
Obstruction may not be emergency. You understand that? And what is as a matter of emergency cannot be determined by one person.
Okay.
You understand that? So not everything that is probably urgent is a matter of emergency. Do you understand that? Yes, it may be true.
Can I give you another example?
Yes.
Yes, the soccerway that was drained at the council.
Yes.
I think we just came to council one morning. We found the whole area overflowed.
You found?
The whole area overflowed.
Yes.
You cannot even. In fact, I think that it took some hours.
Yes.
All right, before people can comfortable settle in their offices.
Yes.
All right. So in that case, I would call that as an emergency because it needs immediate intervention to address the issue.
After that, have you prepared a report to show that he was contracted because of in that manner, in a special manner, because of the emergency situation?
No report was generated.
So how would we take you for your word? That's one of the requirements. You act in a special way, you provide explanation later. Have you done that? You haven't done that. So you cannot sit here and justify that no one outside the people that have seen this shock away would know that that was the situation that happened. Provide the details, the grounds for choosing single sourcing or opting for single sourcing. And you table out your arguments for the issue of emergency. Remember, you have to submit these reports to, these monthly reports to GPPA. Is that not the case?
Yes.
And you must table out why you chose single sourcing in a given situation. Correct?
Yes. I
Correct?
Yes.
Have you
I
done that?
agree.
Have you done that?
We've been supplying.
Have you done that in this emergency situation?
No, as a special case. No, it has not happened.
Now,
But we do submit monthly reports.
Let's go back to this voucher.
Okay.
Is it duly authorized?
No, I said no initially.
Okay, let's move to the next one.
Sorry, Council, I just
Yes.
want to ask him. Mr. Janneh, are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
aware that I could see from that voucher, from the voucher you have read, particularly the one you have highlighted to be for emergency. There are 3 vouchers attached. But the financial manual has provided for expenses when it's emergency. Why didn't you follow the provisions under the financial manual in expending money to pay Mr. Lankaramo Suare? Because it's clearly provided for in the financial manual. So why, at this point, should you request from 3 other service providers?
Well, I think in that respect, I would call it an oversight. When it comes to request for quotations,
Because it doesn't apply when it's emergency. And you have given us 2 examples. And in those vouchers, it is very evident that you tried to comply with the rule when the financial manual is telling you something different. And you are saying those situations are emergency situations.
Yes, this is why I said, in respect of financial manual, we did not follow. That's an oversight, ma.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Yes, the next one.
This one, PV, (3882), that is system generated. We have 3 other PV numbers. I think this issue was raised yesterday, and I sought the permission of the Commission to give me time to make some findings, which I did. What I was told at the Department of Finance,
Yes.
as a result of a particular payment having more than 1 voucher number,
Yes.
occurred as a result of system being backlogged or down. As a result of that, they will manually generate this, all right, and input it. So when the 2 payment vouchers in question that I tried to find out, I realized that the PV numbers that were handwritten happened to be the right PV numbers and not those generated by the system.
How did you verify that?
Through the system. When they looked at the payments, all right, then they quoted and printed. That's the.
So how about the actual numbers that were printed in the system? Yes.
Those did not appear finally.
So if they do not appear in the system, it means that it was never used. If they say that the system was down, how was it possible that they could have printed that those vouchers with the voucher numbers?
Yes, I think in that case, whatever technicalities involved, the finance director can better explain that.
So you would not know?
But yeah, definitely.
As
What my concern was,
were you convinced?
Huh?
Were you convinced?
Well, based on my limited about knowledge.
The
I'm
CEO
convinced, yes.
does not have limited
Yes,
knowledge.
Yes.
The CEO cannot be said to have limited knowledge. So that's why what you sign up for when you occupy the position of the CEO, in this case, the law says you are the chief accounting officer.
In respect of this thing, because I did my findings, and I
Were
was
you convinced?
giving. Yes, I was convinced.
You were convinced that the system can generate a voucher. It's been printed with a PV number, but the system is still down. But what I know is the system is down, it's down. You can't generate anything. In fact, you can't work with the system. But it's generated. Do you understand that?
Yes.
But we will see who was the finance department director at the time as well, and also take up this issue. So yes, the voucher you have with you, can you please run us through that voucher?
Yes. 3882, PV number 3882, the second PV number 12-6633,
Yes.
and the third KMC PV number 220000866.
The amount?
326,500.
How much?
326,000.
What was it for?
Being cost of roof cover and finishing for the construction of Talini Gilifiti Kunda market.
Roof cover.
Huh?
Roof cover.
Roof covering.
Does Lankara Mosware do
Yes.
business of this kind or nature?
No, this scope enterprise. This
Scope-
one is scope
Scope enterprise.
Yes, this one is scope
Can you just put the scope enterprise if I just side by side? Let's deal with Lankara Mosware first until we exhaust Lankara Mosware.
Okay.
Yes?
I'm picking the scope enterprise payment vouchers.
Do you have any voucher for
I'm picking them as they are arranged. So
yes?
yes,
What is the number?
PV number
Yes?
KMC 22001053.
What is the description?
Because of clearing of an illegal dump at
Yes.
Bakote Tanje Garage, an old Cape Road, Bakau.
How much?
$100,000.
What method was used? RFQ. How many bidders? Yes.
Pino General Merchandise,
Yes. The third one,
Lander,
they were all sent the Form 101, the request for quotation form. Were they all sent, the request for
Yes,
quotation
that's
form?
what I'm checking. Sorry, Council. Only one was sent a request. As
Only one?
indicated, yes.
Sent to?
To Lankaramoswari.
Lankaramoswar. Please raise your voice.
Lankaramoswari.
And no request sent to the others.
Yes.
Is that proper?
It is not.
That is in violation of the law, or the act.
I agree.
So that particular payment to is also unlawful.
I agree.
Please move to the next one.
One is, PV number 0256
Yes,
stroke 2020.
yes.
The handwritten one PV number 22-0184. And the third k.M.C. PV 22000655.
What is the payment for?
For hiring of a shovel loader for the clearing of illegal dump in Carnifing, and trucks for transportation of waste to the dump site.
How many bidders? What method?
Pardon?
What method was used?
I think RFQ,
RFQ. How many bidders?
three.
Were they all sent request for quotation?
Seen only one. Only one.
One sent to?
Sent to Lankaramoswari.
Is that proper?
No.
Does Lankaramoswari have a shovel loader?
Not to my knowledge.
Was it supposed to be to your knowledge as CEO and head of the conduct committee?
I was never told.
Was it supposed to be within your knowledge as CEO or head of the contracts committee?
It should be to my knowledge.
It was supposed to be?
Yeah, it's supposed to be to my knowledge.
Yes, yes. So if you had evaluated the bids and everything, you would have known the technical capabilities of these bidders. You would have known the services they are in a position to render. Would you be surprised that Lankaramoswari was more or less acting like an agent? For all the contracts you have been given Lankaramoswari, he was more or less acting as an agent, which cost the area council far more money than you were supposed to spend. Because when you deal with agents, that's what happened. As third parties, Lankaramoswari will now subcontract. You give him money to buy paint, he goes and buy paint from someone else. You give him money to go and secure a shovel loader, he goes to the person who has a shovel loader and pays that person.
Can I say something, Council?
Yes.
At my end,
Yes.
like I said previously,
Yes.
when requests are made,
Yes.
I am related to, for instance, the field worker will go and assess the place to ascertain.
Yes.
All right. At times, even with Lansware,
At times.
whosoever
Yes.
the potential bidder might be.
Yes.
All right. And generate reports and minuted back on the same report
Yes.
that well, the situation is as requested.
How often?
So when services are done,
Yes.
all right, a certificate of completion, or it's been satisfied by planning, that, well, the job is executed to the letter.
Mr.
So,
Janneh.
as a result of that, the payment is executed.
Mr. Janneh, you have issued certificate of completion, of job satisfaction and completion to Lankara Musware for all this? That's not correct. That was not done.
No, in most cases,
Yes.
I think normally it should be attached to the.
In most cases, it was not done.
Yeah.
Do you agree? In most cases, it was not done.
Then maybe they didn't attach to the where it is not done, where evidence are not given, as an oversight or the failure to attach it to the body. That's always the case.
That is the way?
I said, wherever it is not attached to the payment voucher, it must be an oversight at the side of services, or
let me remind you again.
Yeah.
Again, even the Gambia Public Procurement Act 122, these are all the same process. For instance, it talks about the Contracts Committee, Section 73. And you have 74, the Commission of the Contracts Committee. 75, the functions of the Contracts Committee. It says 73, a Contracts Committee shall be established in every procuring organization in the Gambia, supported by a specialized procurement unit. The Commission of the Contracts Committee shall be in accordance with Section 74, we'll get there. A procuring organization is responsible, and accounting officers and other officials concerned are accountable for public procurement in accordance with the Act and regulation. The accounting officer, that's you at the time, correct?
Yes.
Or the head of the procuring organization, which is also, which doubles down as the CEO, where there is no designated accounting officer shall appoint the head of the procurement unit or any senior staff or member of the organization to act as secretary to the Contracts Committee. A Contracts Committee may delegate to a specialized procurement unit authority to make contract awards decisions, subject to such decisions being subsequently reported to and recorded in the minutes of the Contracts Committee. You have said this was not done, correct?
Yes.
You have said this was not done.
Yes. Can I say something? With all these provisions, yes, this should serve as a guide, but in reality is, in certain circumstances, these guidance or these documents are not being interacted.
I don't understand what you mean by not being interacted.
No, even, because like you do now, or referencing to a certain where the defaults are in the case of our execution, all right? So, believe it or not, for example, my experience at k.M.C, looking at the volume of transactions,
yes.
At times, the payments will be brought to you, all right? I cannot even imagine. Or whilst others, some of the recipients of those payments, all right, came from far and wide, waiting, okay, at a very odd hour, for instance.
What is your point?
No, my point is, at times, in my case, all right, it's difficult sometimes to go through, all right, these payments to ascertain whether all the necessary criteria are met.
I don't.
I'm talking about the reality.
No, I haven't seen your point.
You haven't seen my point.
Your point. You have to make it very clear what you are trying to say. Are you saying that you cannot comply in all cases the dictates of the financial manual and the procurement regulations and act? Is that your argument?
Well, in reality, yes. Not that we ignore.
Is that your argument?
Not that we ignore.
Mr. Janneh, you don't ignore. You favor. You don't ignore. You act in a manner that is really not proper. And in doing so, you favor certain people to enrich them at the expense of the country. You don't ignore. There are no situations where you cannot agree. It has catered for every eventuality, even in the case of emergencies, how you should act. In the case of expenditure, the chairperson has already also referred you to the financial manual regarding expenditures that are so dire, they are so urgent that how you have to act. Be it as it may, you must provide expenditure either before, during, or after. So you have no point. You have no argument. The idea was, Lankara Musmari was being enriched. You know what he said here before the commission when he testified? Do you know?
I didn't follow.
Have you heard him say that all he has is his receipt and stamp?
No, that's a deficiency on his side. It's a
Your side.
It's a deficiency on our side too.
It's not a mere deficiency. It is intentional, because it was not as if you could not have known that he does not have the capacity, and he cost you more money giving him contracts than giving deserving companies or businesses who have these machineries.
Can I say this, please, Council?
Absolutely.
At times you have to forgive me for repeating myself.
Don't worry.
This is in the case of, that's what I said, this is a man who has been working with council for almost 2 decades or more. And not only council, other institutions, reputable institutions.
It's wrong. Just because it was
I heard him saying he was been given contract by NRA. I heard him saying, all right, there were reports that when you were dealing with the Brikama Council, Lanswara was one of the suppliers.
Does that make it right?
No, I'm not defending that.
No, does that make it right?
No, I'm
the
not
idea that
that
other institutions will give Lankara Musware.
No, I just want to, during my time, you see, you cannot, it's difficult. It's difficult. You cannot just correct the systems overnight. I spent almost 1 year, I don't know, about 6 months in office. I cannot describe it.
We are listening.
Yes. Very unfavorable circumstances.
Like what? Janneh, tell us the unfavorable circumstances. If not, our argument as lawyers would be you would be responsible.
In that case, I came as a acting CEO.
Yes.
All right, that story is known to all.
Yes.
So, in public administration, even to assert your principles or
authority.
Or authority or whatever. So you have a lot of stocks here and there, even within the management.
What were your stops? What were your problems? What were your challenges?
Within the management. No, you see, when the sea is rough, there are socks everywhere. I'm talking about in public institutions.
But tell us. The commission wants to know. We cannot assume. We don't want them to assume.
No, certain things you can. I would not say you perceive them, but these are reality that cannot even be explained, but they are felt.
Are you in a position to tell us what were your challenges? If not, everything lies on your head. Not only you, there will be people who will come here and they will also answer questions regarding all these things that are happening. But as CEO, you are also equally.
No. I agree.
What were your challenges?
Let's continue.
At your own request, Mr. Janneh.
Yeah.
We continue at your own request.
Thank you.
Then
Council.
You will bear the responsibility, Mr. Janneh. If you don't want.
No, I'm not devoid that. Of course, yes.
Yes, that's fine.
What I should take, I will take that.
And
I will not side.
And I again Indeed. Commend you for that. Yes. Mr. Janneh, I was reading the contracts committee. It says 5 or 6. Let me now move to section 74, the composition of the contracts committee. A contracts committee shall be staffed with personnel who are well informed concerning public procurement and whose professional qualifications meet the requirements that may be established by the head of the procuring organization. So we expect that any head of the procuring organization would have information about general procurement.
I agree.
We also have a procurement unit. We expect that the head of the procurement unit or the specialized procurement unit would be part of your contracts committee. Now, two, the head of the procurement organization or head of the accounting unit, or where there is no designated accounting officer or his or her representative, shall chair the contracts committee. 3, appointment of other members and staff to a contracts committee shall be in accordance with the guidelines. 4, a contracts committee shall consist of at least 3 members and shall include, in addition to the chairperson, an accounts officer or any budget professional, a secretary who shall be the head of the procurement unit, and any other person familiar with the substance. 5, the list of the contracts committee members shall be shared with the authority, including alternates. You have the functions. Says 75, the functions of a contracts committee shall include: A, verification of proper procurement planning and availability of funds. B, approval of the invitation to bid and the bidding documents. C, approval of the use of single source procurement in accordance with the regulations. That's why I said earlier, even if you were to single source, it has to be approved by the contracts committee. E, comparing and evaluating the bids and selecting the winning bids. F, submitting the recommendations resulting from the evaluation of bids to the accounting officer of the procurement organization concerned or other official designated in the regulations. G, ensure that stores and equipments are disposed of in compliance with the Act. And H, considering applications for the variations. Do you see that? So your role is very important. And for most of the procurement we have seen, KMC have not been doing well. We have flouted the rules of procurement. So whosoever thinks that you are following procurement, that person must have been reading from a different book and different set of laws. What you're not any different from any area council. You have flouted the rules seriously. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Even a single rule is flouted, the rules are flouted.
Even
a single rule is flouted. Talk less of number of rules.
Thank you.
In any case, you see, all these provisions you've been reading, like I said, these are guides are there to help us execute our activities effectively.
Yes.
That's one. All right?
Yes.
In practice, you see difference. And this is a reality.
No, that's
a reality. I see, I work in a public institution with my experience.
Yes.
All right? You have policies, 1,001 policies. You visit some offices, you have piles of whatever.
True. That doesn't make it right.
No, I'm coming now. See. In fact, the beauty of this commission is enlightening people. If I'm to be in a certain position, let's say tomorrow, what I accepted yesterday, I will not accept it today. I will not accept it. All right?
Yes.
Because once the guides are there, some of these guides are they are outdated. Some of the guides, no, I'm not talking about the financial whatever, but the prevailing circumstances also dictate actions, which are anti to what has been pronounced by guidance. These are realities. Can I give you one case in point?
Yes.
I'm not trying to be feminist.
No, feel free. Feel free to say what you have to say.
It's a public policy. For example, before, the maternity leave used to be 6 6 weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks before delivery, 3 weeks before, after delivery.
Yes.
When you are to seek for maternity leave, all right, based on the recommendation of the medical office, they will determine when you should go.
Yes.
This is in books. Now that they have changed to 6 months,
Yes.
3 months before, 3 months after.
Yes.
That is even good for the health of the mother
Yes.
and the expected baby.
Yes, absolutely.
But in reality, well, what prevails in some circumstances is different. And this is happening. All right? And the head of some of those institutions knew this is, but the prevailing circumstances, how well?
Let me ask you one
And
question.
can I give another example?
Go ahead, sir.
The constitution of this country says every child has right to education.
Yes.
It's the responsibility of the state to
Yeah.
provide
Yes.
education for the children. Yes, it's the desire of the state. That's the document.
Yeah.
Every sitting government has that desire, has that responsibility, and also want to execute that responsibility.
Yes.
But then the compelling forces do not give the grounds.
Yes.
So the law is there, but in this case, well, it has not been followed.
Yes.
Because of the prevailing circumstance. You go to some communities, there are Gambians like those in other areas.
Let me help you.
Huh?
Yeah.
But what they are enjoying and what others are enjoying differ. And it's the same state. We all have right to the state coffers.
Mr.
But
Janneh,
the citizen is different.
Janneh, I know.
No, I'm just telling
Sorry,
you.
Mr. Janneh.
Huh?
Yes.
I'm just trying to, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
let me, I have to intervene.
Okay.
I have to intervene,
thank you.
Mr. Janneh. We understand the inequalities and the injustices. We understand that, and we all live through the inequality and the injustices, right? But what we are talking about here is responsibility and how responsibility is to be situated. Well, the financial manual, when it comes to expenditure, everything is tailored down to specifics. What we are looking at here are no hypotheses. They are realistic situations. All right? And what this financial manual and the Local Government Finance and Audit Act has done is to be able to guide people that are executing the functions of dealing with revenue to be able to be guided. So there cannot be an excuse or to say there are exigent or extraneous circumstances that is making it impossible. I don't think so. I don't honestly think so. Because if you have to have, or you have to have the understanding that you cannot comply with what the laws are saying, and you will have to do what you want to do, would that provide for transparency and accountability?
No, ma.
Thank you.
And I'm not.
Yes, and let us proceed.
Okay.
Please.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Janneh,
Yes, lead counsel.
we will move with the next vouchers, but just to assist you in one of your other things you have said, you're trying to raise comparison. So the right to education, or certain rights, are classified as under what we call the directive principles of state policy. So for instance, the state wants to do this, or it is the right to do this, but it's not achievable. It's clearly outlined the rights that may not be achievable in a certain situation. But of course, the applications and the interpretations as well are probably very much important. The issue is, before I ask you about that voucher, Mr. Janneh, during your time as CEO, what would you say is required of you in the regulations, either the financial manual, an accounting manual for local government, area councils, or the act, the Procurement Act and Regulation that you think you could not have enforced? Just one.
You see, I cannot specifically say this. I couldn't have it. It's not a question of couldn't, because you see, in this case, you even read about some portions where the contract committee members or the expertise in procurement and so forth in an institution is not one person. Yes, you can have only one head, but it doesn't mean that one person can solve all. That's why we have some technocrats. That in the case of k.M.C.
Let me help you again. The Procurement Act and Regulation also provides for capacity building.
Yes.
So build capacity, train in the people, enhance their technical capacity. That's why I said laws are supposed to be progressive, but unless you become specific, your problem will never be solved. The idea is what you are crying for, you have the right to, the powers to do. Enhance capacity. If you are to apply for the position of a C.E.O., you must be at a certain level of education and experience. Is that not the case?
Yes.
If you are to work at the procurement unit, you must have certain qualifications. If we follow that, we will have met the baseline, the minimum requirement. And then we build it from there, moving upwards. So unless you have examples of laws or which the Commission will welcome, because they may also, if they share your view, they may make recommendations therein. We are not saying it is perfect, no. But you cannot either also just point out where you think you have caused council to spend public funds against the dictates of the relevant laws. You cannot point that out. And why you cannot act in that way. Is that not the case?
Yes,
So,
I agree.
Yes, that's the issue. So for all the arguments, definitely, we've seen the passion and then the energy, but you have to point out, for instance, this situation, I had spent or authorized expenditure of this kind, and this amount. This was a situation, there was no way I could have been in compliance with the regulation or the act. That will help your argument.
You see, the capacity building you talk of, if you request for records, all right, during my time, the capacity building provided for staff compared to the previous, you see the difference. My background is education.
Janneh, do you have a next,
All right.
your other voucher here?
Yes.
Yes, please get us through that voucher.
PV number
Yes.
22
Yes, sir.
0475.
What is that payment about?
Being payment for the cost of construction materials for the construction of soccer waste at Serekunda Sandika Market as per request.
How many bidders? Sorry, what method was used?
RFQ?
Request for quotation. Do you have three quotations sent?
1, 2, 3. The one from Lansware, the other from
Form?
something Tumbia because of the stapling is not.
What is the
first
form
word is not clear.
number?
And the third from Salis Enterprise.
What is the form number?
The?
Form number?
I beg your pardon?
The form number.
What do you mean the form number?
You know, request will be sent,
Sent, okay.
and the form has a number.
Yes, that's 101.
101. Did you receive quotations from 3 of those?
Yes, that's what I want to verify. One, only one.
Only one from?
Sent to Lansware.
Only one sent to Langsware.
Lansware.
You see?
As per attached.
The other two?
No, I
So-
would say only one.
So the requirements for RFQ were not met.
Not met, yes, I agree.
The payment is unlawful, Mr. Janneh.
I agree
Please,
in that
please-
respect.
Yes, please move to the next one. The
Voucher number
Yes, go ahead, sir.
PV22-1817.
The description, the reason for payment,
Hiring of a truck for the clearing of illegal dumps at Bakau Farokono.
going back to the previous voucher, does Mr. Lankara Mosware sell building materials?
Not to my knowledge. I don't even have personal interactions with Lansware.
Yes.
All right, and neither have I inquired his, ability or potential or whatever he has.
Do you know whether
at
he
his
has-
disposal? And he never told me.
Do you know whether he has trucks?
No, not to my knowledge.
So will you be surprised to know the answer is no? He doesn't have any of these. He doesn't have a chauffeur loader. He doesn't have trucks. He doesn't sell building materials, paints, you name it. Mr. Sware doesn't have bulldozers. He has given contracts to even hire bulldozers. You know what he has? Like I will repeat to you, a receipt and a stamp. Would that not be more expensive for council? To give contracts to Lankara Mosware and he will give contracts to someone else. Is that not more expensive?
In some way,
Always.
what is, you can only talk of what you experience.
You should
All right,
experience it.
in a competitive environment, yes, if a competitive environment is created, that's more advantageous in any way.
Must be?
Yes.
Must be?
I said, if a competitive environment is created, wherein, like you said, not all services are rendered to Lansware, all right, along the line you'll see somebody else who might offer better quality service, lower price.
So for instance, Lankara Mosware is given the contract for the hiring of a shovel loader. He goes and contracts someone else. Would it be more financially advantageous to council or disadvantageous to council? Financially.
The answer is in twofold, yes or no. Yes,
Okay.
in the sense, he hasn't, if you contact him, he also subcontracted.
And
All right?
who wins?
Of course, he'll get his little profit. The one who is subcontracted will also get this little token.
Which is
All
far
right?
more expensive to
So,
council.
okay. Whereas, in the case where somebody who has those materials, okay, there's no issue of subcontracting. But then, at the negotiation level, the likelihood is a probability. The likelihood for that person.
There is no probability here.
Likelihood for that person with the materials can be higher than this.
Nope.
All right.
No.
And again, I'm not saying that's what.
That's not in fact
happened,
possible.
But then, anyway, that's
No, we
that's
have
my
to just
view.
to be. You have been honest throughout. I must give you that. I have to give you that. But we have to really, where it is very clear, we just say it as it is. Where you have subcontracting, it's much more expensive. It's just general knowledge. the person you're giving the contract who is to subcontract is going to make profit. So to erase that profit, that financial cost, you can deal directly with the people that have these technical capabilities. And they bring their quotations. You evaluate them. They compete among themselves. And each of them will strive to be the actual, to win the award. So you achieve market value. Is that not the case? It costs more.
Yes.
Yes, it costs more to deal with third parties than to deal with the principal. It costs more. That's just standard financial. And Section 220 says, general provisions on, you want to say something?
Yes, I totally agree.
Yes.
But in another vein,
no other vein, Mr. Janneh.
Is it in anything there are further possibilities?
Okay, that's fine. We move on. We move on.
Yes.
We have been heard by the commissioners about these situations. Says the procurement principles that shall govern all public procurement processes in the Gambia are the following. That's Section 20, procurement principles. Page 25. The Act is 2022, the Gambia Public Procurement Act. That A, to maximize economy and efficiency in procurement to achieve value for money. B, to foster and promote competition by encouraging participation in procurement proceedings by economic operators regardless of nationality. C, promote transparency, accountability, and ethical standards among stakeholders in following the Gambia Public Procurement rules and regulations. And D, provide for the fair and equitable treatment of all economic operators to promote the integrity of and fairness and public confidence in the procurement process. And E, implement segregation of duties in all procurement process. Now, any procurement procedure or regulation that is in conflict with these principles shall be declared null and void. And that is why on these those bases and others, I will be asking you the question that these procurements were very unlawful.
I agree.
I know, but I have to bring it out.
No,
Mr. Janneh, so just allow me to bring it out.
Okay.
So go to the next one. So the one you have, as well, the last one we treated, you agree it is not proper, raised. It's not duly authorized. The award that we dealt with earlier.
Yes.
The shovel loader. Yes, so now move to the next one.
This one's PV number 22-1124.
What is the payment for?
The cost of drains clearing and removing debris from the canal along Kotu stream towards Batin Hardin Highway.
How much was he paid?
$360,000.
$1,000. And how long did this contract last? Do you know?
The period it lasts, the activity. I don't think there's any post on here
It's
that
not.
specify it.
And what method was used?
RFQ, it's all this RFQ.
Is it a proper? Did it follow the guidelines, the rules and regulations?
As discussed, no.
It did not. So it's unlawful.
I agree. Yes, I agree.
Move to the next one. The PV number, sir?
221301.
The amount paid to Lankara Muswar,
$85,000.
what was it for?
Main cost of clearing and evacuating waste on the highway from Old Joshua to
What was
Denton Bridge.
The method used?
RFQ.
Did you follow the requirements for RFQ?
No.
Is that Do you agree that the payment is unlawful?
Agreed.
Move to the next one, sir.
PV 22-1455.
1455.
Yes.
The amount?
$150,000.
What is the payment for?
Hiring of 3 trucks for the clearing of dump of old juice from Bakau.
What was that, the method used, the procurement method?
Same RFQ, have 3 quotations.
Where the the 3 requests sent for RFQ?
Only one is indicated here.
Was the process followed for RFQ?
No, as per the document here.
And you agree the
Indeed.
authorization for the payment is unlawful?
Indeed.
Move to the next one, sir. The PV number?
KM/PV 22001086.
The amount paid to Lankara Musware?
$75,000.
The reason for payment?
Hiring of a shovel loader and 3 trucks for the clearing of illegal dumps at Fajikunda.
The method of payment?
RFQ?
Were the necessary 3 quotations sent to 3 bidders?
No, but there's indication of 1.
The payment was unlawful, you agree?
Yes.
Move to the next one, sir.
PV 21
Yes.
2343.
The amount?
$65,000.
The reason for payment?
Removal of fallen baobab tree at Bakau Upper Basic.
The method
School.
of procurement?
RFQ?
Were the necessary 3 quotations sent and received?
No, only one is indicated in the document.
Were the process required for RFQ followed?
No.
Do you agree that payment is also unlawful? You agree?
Yes.
Move to the next one, sir.
PV 220749.
The amount paid to Lankara Musware?
$38,750.
And a reason for payment?
So I think here the description is wrong because it said 23 days hiring of scaffolding and 4 days 4 days wall cutting and filling. I think there is something wrong with the description. 23 days for hiring of scaffolding instead of 4 days.
Instead of?
I think it should have been 4 days, but then you can allow me to establish this with the account.
You want to verify?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I cannot imagine 23 days of hiring of scaffolding, and you have 4 days wall cutting.
Okay.
All right. Whereas I think yesterday in the payment perhaps is 4 days is indicated. So I don't.
You okay? What we can do? You will see the registrar later.
No.
He will photocopy that voucher with the permission of the commission to have you have a copy, and you can do your necessary verifications, and you can come back. Honorable Chairperson. May the witness be allowed to?
You want to say something? Is it in relation to? Is it? Yes, Council, the voucher can be made available, a copy, since these are admitted documents. The registrar can make available a copy for him to go and do the verification as he has requested.
Thank you. We appreciate.
Commissioner Joyner has a question for him.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I have two questions. One is, in your office as the Chief Executive Officer or the Acting Chief Executive Officers, do your office have these manuals or these documents resident in your office for use as reference manual?
No, Honorable Commissioner.
Where does these manuals resident? Like the Financial Accounting Manual, the Local Government Act, the Local Government Finance and Audit Act, all of these things. Don't you have a copy in your office to be making references when the need arises? Let's say it's a financial transaction.
The hard copies were not available. I think I got some of these things at my disposal when I applied for the position of CEO, Deputy CEO, so to address myself with it in soft copy.
So these documents, where are they residing?
I think the Director of Finance, later, when I was there, engaged him, and he provided this, but not in hard copy, but in soft copy.
But don't you think, as the Chief Accounting Officer, you should have had all of this in your office for references?
Of course, yes, I agree.
Okay. The second one that I have, for vouchers that have 3 PVs, payment voucher numbers, is it normal for a PV to have 3 payment voucher numbers?
No, it's not normal.
Now, if you are to trace whether any of these PVs were recorded, where would you go to?
Accounts?
And do you think account has all of these PVs numbers reference to, let's say, PV number 1 is been deleted or set aside and it's now PV 101? Can you trace this PV, these 3 PVs numbers, to one document?
I think I made some efforts in that respect today, because I promised Council that if I'm granted time, I'll do that findings, which of course to some extent I did. And in fact, that's a question that I asked. I was also interested which account clerk in particular, or office account personnel in particular, wrote this thing. All right, and this could not be established. The simple fact that unfortunately no signature was made. If at all signature, but those ink writings were signed, one can easily trace whose signature it is. But then what they have simply told me was, at the time of the system was down, and in some cases there was backlog of payment, so these were manually generated. And when the issue I was discussing with the lead counsel, I said the finance director would be in a better position to explain this in detail for your consumption.
Finally, can I leave you with one quotation which I think will be helpful? It is always good to believe your juniors. It is always good to believe your juniors, but you have to confirm.
Yes.
You see the rationale behind that. I believe you, but
Yes,
that doesn't mean
I agree. In fact, this double or triple whatever was on a particular payment is to my, I noticed it here. Like I told the lead counsel, once the payments are released, all right, approval is given, at the level of the account office, they might realize that fine, the system generated voucher, all right, it's not correct. So if they don't have any other ways of correcting that system generated one to perfectly, they resort to a simple way of just putting it manually. So, but then I came with those two payments I followed. They from the system they generated these payments. So at that point, well, I believe.
Now, the reason why I'm saying this is it will be of good help because you will check the authenticity of the processes, whether they have been followed. Because what you are receiving is the tail end, which you believe the guy has done his job, but you have to check the authenticity of the process. Did this guy follow the due process? That's what this quotation is really talking about. Believe, but confirm.
I quite agree with you, Commissioner. What I'm saying, to get the right information, okay, the technical person, the expert, will be the director of finance. They operated the system. They have the machines at their disposal. He supervises the personnel there. So all the nitty-gritties as far as the accounting is concerned, of course he's abreast with it. He should be able to feed the commission properly.
I believe it's a convenient point to stop, Council. It is time. We'll come back after lunch break. We may rise.